It started the way betrayals always do, quietly, like a shadow creeping in where trust once lived. I had always believed my marriage was built on honesty, and my best friend was the kind of man who would rather take a punch than stab me in the back. But life has a way of pulling the rug out when you least expect it, leaving you standing in the wreckage of everything you thought was solid. For years, Daniel had been more than a friend. He was family. We grew up together, went through college side by side, and even stood as each other's best man. When I married Claire, he was the first one I introduced her to, the one I trusted most with the woman I loved. Watching them laugh together never stirred jealousy in me. Instead, I felt proud, almost relieved, that my wife and my best friend could share the same circle without awkwardness or friction. But then I started noticing small things. Texts from Daniel at odd hours. Ones Claire would quickly dismiss with a casual smile, and "It's just about the game." Her phone would buzz late at night, and I would see her turn away just slightly when she replied. It was subtle, almost innocent, until it wasn't. The night it all cracked open was a Friday. Claire told me she was going to a late work meeting, and Daniel said he couldn't make it to our usual guys' night because he was busy. Something in me twisted at the coincidence. I told myself I was paranoid, but when you've known someone for 20 years, you start to recognize the signs of a lie. I followed. My car crawled down the street, headlights dimmed, as I kept a safe distance from Claire's. She didn't turn toward her office. Instead, she drove into a quiet neighborhood I didn't recognize, pulling into the driveway of a small, rented house. My heart pounded so loud I could hear it in my ears. I waited, gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping me from flying apart. Then Daniel's car pulled up. I wanted to scream, to slam my door shut and storm in, but I didn't. Instead, I parked a little further down, hard in my throat, and watched him walk into the same house my wife had entered minutes earlier. The porch light flicked on, the door opened, and for a brief moment, I caught sight of them inside. Her hand brushed his cheek, his lips pressing against hers. The world shattered. I sat in my car for hours, numb, staring at that door. When they finally emerged, laughing quietly like teenagers sneaking around, I knew I couldn't just walk away. The rage inside me was molten, but so was the ache. I had lost them both, the woman I loved and the brother I had chosen. The next day, I acted as though nothing had changed. I kissed Claire good morning, texted Daniel with casual jokes, and smiled when my coworkers asked about life. But beneath it, I was planning. Revenge wasn't just a thought. It became a map in my head. Each step drawn with precision. I started gathering evidence. A spare phone hidden in my car recorded their meetings. A small camera slipped into the living room when I told Claire I was working late. Caught her sneaking calls. Even Daniel, as careful as he thought he was, couldn't hide the way he grinned when she messaged him during our group hangouts. Piece by piece, I built the case. The perfect opportunity came 2 weeks later, at a dinner party Claire and I were hosting. Friends, family, co-workers. Even Daniel was there, sitting at the same table, laughing like nothing was wrong. I stood, glass in hand, pretending to toast to love and loyalty. My voice trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of what was about to unfold. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I began, smiling as if my world wasn't about to detonate. It means so much to have friends and family who support us. But tonight, I also want to celebrate honesty. I turned toward the television on the wall. With one click of the remote, the screen lit up, not with music or a slideshow of memories, but with the recordings I collected. Claire's voice filled the room, soft and intimate, whispering things to Daniel that I hadn't heard from her in years. Then came the video, her in Daniel's arms, his lips on hers. The room froze. Gasps filled the silence. Some people covering their mouths, others turning away in shock. Claire's face went pale. Daniel's fork clattered the floor, and I just stood there, calm in the storm I had unleashed. Honesty, I said again, my voice cold now, is what I thought we all shared. Claire broke down first, tears streaming as she begged me to listen, to understand, to forgive. Daniel tried to speak, but the fury in the eyes of everyone else at the table silenced him. He had betrayed not just me, but every bond we'd built together. I didn't shout. I didn't throw anything. I simply picked up my glass, raised it one last time, and said, "To betrayal and the lessons it teaches us." Then I walked out, leaving them to drown in the wreckage of their choices. In the days that followed, Claire tried to reach me, her calls and messages a desperate storm I refused to answer. Daniel disappeared, humiliated and ostracized by the same circle that once adored him. And me, I rebuilt piece by piece, but I never forgot, because betrayal cuts deeper when it comes from the ones closest to your heart. But revenge, quiet, devastating, and undeniable, was the only closure I needed. "Please, just 5 minutes," she whispered, her voice trembling like a child's. I stared at her, not the woman I married, but the stranger who had destroyed us. Against my better judgment, I led her into the conference room. She clutched her hands together, shaking, her words tumbling out in fragments. "I made a mistake. I don't even know how it happened. You've been so busy, and I felt—" I cut her off. "Don't you dare blame this on me." Her lips quivered. "I'm not. I swear I'm not. I felt lonely. Daniel was there, and he listened when I thought you stopped hearing me. Into our bed? That was your solution." She collapsed into the chair, sobbing, but the sound didn't move me anymore. I remembered every late night she had texted him while lying beside me, every excuse she had given about staying late at work, every lie coated in a smile. My chest ached, but my anger kept me upright. "Do you love him?" I asked finally. Her eyes shot up, wide, panicked. "No. God, no. It wasn't love. It was weakness. I still love you." That line, it felt rehearsed, like a script she prepared in her head. I almost laughed again. Love, to me, meant loyalty. Love meant choosing your spouse when temptation whispered. She had chosen the opposite. I stood, walked to the door, and held it open, then loved me enough to let me go. Her tears spilled faster. She reached for me, but I stepped back. The distance between us was no longer just physical. It was permanent, unbridgeable. After she left, Daniel tried next. He sent a message first. "Bro, we need to talk. Please don't shut me out." As if he hadn't shut me out the moment he kissed her. I ignored it. Then he showed up at the gym where I worked out, catching me as I was leaving. "Man, just hear me out," he said, his voice desperate. I turned, looked him dead in the eye, and felt nothing but disgust. "You slept with my wife, Daniel. What the hell could you possibly say to make that better?" He flinched. I didn't mean for it to happen. We were drunk one night, and then it kept happening. I swear, it wasn't about hurting you. It just got out of control." I almost laughed at the cowardice of it. "It wasn't about hurting me. You climbed into her bed. Every time you touched her, you knew you were stabbing me in the back. Don't tell me it wasn't about me. It was always about me. About what you wanted more than my trust." His face crumpled. "Please, I've lost everything, man. My family, my job, my... Good." I snapped. "You should lose everything. Because you don't deserve anything. Not from me. Not from anyone." I walked past him, leaving him standing there in the parking lot like a shell of the man I once called brother. The divorce papers came weeks later. Claire fought, begged, pleaded for counseling, mediation, anything to undo the wreckage, but I was done. Some wounds bleed too deeply to ever close. When the judge finalized it, I felt an odd mixture of grief and freedom, like burying someone you love but knowing you'll finally stop standing at their grave every night. As for Daniel, he moved out of town eventually. No one in our circle wanted anything to do with him. Friends who once adored him crossed the street to avoid him. His name became a warning in whispered conversations. Don't ever trust someone like him. I rebuilt slowly. Nights were hard. Mornings were heavier, but little by little I learned how to breathe again without the weight of betrayal crushing me. I poured myself into work, into hobbies I'd abandoned, into people who valued me without lies. And though sometimes late at night, the memories came back, the sight of her lips on his, the sound of her voice whispering things that weren't meant for me, I never regretted exposing them, because the truth, however painful, was better than living inside a lie. My revenge hadn't been violent or loud. It had been precise, undeniable, unforgettable. And as much as it broke me, it also gave me something I never thought I'd find in the ruins: peace. But peace doesn't erase scars. And mine will always remind me of a night I learned that sometimes the sharpest knives aren't held by enemies, but by the hands you trusted most.